what I find more often than not is people struggle on the belief of they can see it, but kind of believing it is their challenge. And so what I recommend is kind of continuing to tap into that vision, seeing it, kind of envisioning what it feels like, the victory, envisioning what it feels like to accomplish it, and taking small steps every day towards creating that dream life.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Championship Leadership Podcast. We got Vivian Garcia-Tunon from currently residing in Long Island. How you doing, Vivian? Thanks for being here.
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Today and every day that we have this podcast, I think we're a little over 300 in so far. I like to ask, Championship Leadership's the name of the podcast. What comes to mind for you when you hear that?
What comes to mind is kind of that vision of kind of being surrounded by champion leaders every single day. And I think it's an amazing vision to be surrounded by inspirational, aspirational people, and kind of that ecosystem around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you tell the listener a little bit about yourself and your path and journey in life to where you are today and what it is that you're up to today?
Sure thing. So I guess a little bit about me. Kind of starting young, I wanted to be a happy doctor. That was my vision in life.
Doctor?
A happy doctor. I didn't know what it was.
Not a
Clearly,
sad
it wasn't
doctor.
Exactly, not a sad doctor. That didn't sound good. But I think what I saw from a very young age were people at choice of how they live their lives. And for me, it was, how can you be happy and fulfilled? And it started mostly through tragedy in our family, but kind of as I continued in my education path and then my career, I kept on seeing people that just didn't seem happy and fulfilled. And for me, that became my journey, as I actually spent time in HR. So I was supposed to be the heart and soul of an organization. And it became clear that the ability to help people be happy and fulfilled was much larger than being inside an organization. So today I work with many different leaders across many different industries and helping them be happy and fulfilled and impactful. So it all started with that simple vision. Exactly. Exactly. I knew what I wanted to be. I just needed to figure out how to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Love it. Well, who are some happy coaches and leaders and mentors that have maybe helped you to get to where you are today or have impacted you? And it's always more so, it's always less who, but really more like what about them? What's some of the characteristics that have stood out?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's about being authentic. It's about being genuine. I think what has been most important to me is kind of facing life and being able, I think in the workplace, we talk about kind of compartmentalizing your life. And for me, that just didn't seem real. The more I was able to connect with people, the more I was able to connect with their stories, the more I understood who they were, the more we could accomplish more together. And so I think I admired a lot of leaders that really showed me a way to be authentic and not be kind of on autopilot, a robot, just kind of walking in and kind of checking the boxes. It really meant kind of showing up with your heart and showing up caring about people. That's what I see on a daily basis that supports people's success and impact much more.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. What's the vision for you and the impact that you're looking to make? I think I'm a big football guy, and so I think of, like, in terms of sports, sometimes like Bill Belichick or Nick Saban, who have been in their profession for so long, but have continued to be so good, right? And you know, I think a big part of that has to be because of the vision they have and the courage to take action on it. So yeah, what's, just always curious, what's your vision?
So it's interesting. I think in the world of coaching, I think of Susie Orman, and I think of
Yeah.
her from in the sense of I don't see a lot of women in this space that are kind of having that broadest impact. And for me, I've always said I want to be this Susie Orman of careers and helping people live happy and fulfilled lives and kind of having them live out their best lives. So it's not just about the finances. Finances is one aspect that we all kind of work and manage with.
Yeah.
But it's more, how can we live really fulfilled lives and have the impact that we've set out to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love that. What's is Susie Orman still around, by the way? I don't watch.
I don't even know.
But,
I really don't know, but I think from a young age, kind of seeing women succeed in different industries, she was someone that I was like, wow, she's a woman in a male space. That
I mean, I'm sure she is. You know, it feels like just yesterday that I saw her talking on one of those news channels, but again, I guess I don't watch too much TV anymore, so I have no idea, but definitely know who she is. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like you said. So, what's maybe like a critical moment for you in your life where obviously you made the decision that you have, it has you where you are today, but had you not, you'd be in a very different place. You know, like you said, you kind of you're in your COVID home. And so, you know, COVID is still very present for a lot of us and the challenges that's brought to us. And I think there's probably a listener right now that's in that moment. So it's, you know, there's strength and power in hearing how others have been able to navigate those times. Is there a moment that comes to mind you can share?
I mean, I guess I haven't spoken a lot about my COVID moment, but it is probably a pretty pivotal moment.
Okay.
I had actually been working in Japan at the beginning of 2020, and I took the last plane out of Japan,
Wow.
and so. All of a sudden in the world of COVID, it was really pretty scary because at that time we didn't know if we'd be stuck over there. It was just a really intense situation. And I came back to the States, and it was a moment where I felt like people were turning on me because I could be part of the disease. And so I literally had neighbors. I had neighbors spraying underneath my door in my building in New York City.
No.
I kid you. I kid you not. Again, this is March 1st, 2020.
But you're in New York too, right?
And I'm exactly. I'm in
I
New
believe
York,
it, but it's crazy.
Exactly. It
was like,
crazy. And I was kind of self-quarantined.
What were they spraying?
I have no clue.
What the heck were they spraying?
I have no clue.
Disinfectant or what?
Me, and he's like, people are saying you're spreading COVID. And I was like, I don't even know what COVID is. I'm happy to get tested. Tests don't exist right now.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm like, I will tell you, I'm self-contained and I'm doing my best for the world and staying safe, but I don't think that people are treating me so nicely right now.
No,
and I was like, we need to stop this. So it was a pretty intense moment just to see how quickly fear can get in our way and how we treat one another.
Yeah.
And it was also a pivotal moment.
We needed some happy doctors back then.
Exactly. We needed a lot of them.
We still need them.
But it was a moment in which I had to choose where to live because literally it no longer felt like a safe place. And so I felt fortunate in kind of making the decision very quickly that this was not a friendly place to be in anymore. It wasn't a space that I wanted to be in. Let's be clear, a 4x4 apartment in New York City is not the best place for a quarantine. So I was fortunate enough to come out to Long Island, and a friend of mine had found a place. It was like at the first day of COVID, and she was like, "I found your place. Come stay here." And truthfully, I've always been in the hustle and the bustle. I've always lived in big cities. I've always kind of had a very fast-paced life, and I think the biggest blessing I could have had in these last 3 years was the ability to slow down.
Yeah.
The ability to slow down. I mean, it forced me to face all of my fears. Got a fear of mortality, fear of kind of destruction of the business that I had been building, friends, family. I mean, it really helped me take a look at what was important to me and reprioritize and see where I spend my time. But I'm not gonna lie, during the roller coaster of it, did it feel great? Not facing each of those fears. Some of them were harder to face than others, but in the end, I think it's only made me more grounded in who I am and more grounded in what really matters now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how have you seen yourself coming out of that? Like, was your business affected during that time? Like almost everyone?
Exactly. It was interesting. Yeah, my entire 2020 was canceled because I was doing a bunch of in-person things, and so it essentially went from a full year to nothing on the books. And so it was this moment of surrender to be like, let's see what's meant to happen. Let's see what's meant to call up. And I've always been someone that's go, go, go and do. And at this moment, in the middle of Long Island, like there was nothing I could do. We were in the middle of a pandemic. I didn't want to go out and sell things. It just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of sat back and kind of enjoyed life, and kind of let life unfold. And sure enough, by the end of 2020, things started coming on, and then 2021 and 2022 have kind of been record-breaking years, just in terms. So there was definitely a great comeback, but I think that the old way of doing business and the old way of kind of having an underlying fear that was playing in my operating system needed to die. So it was helpful for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we start to wrap this up, if there's one or two things you could give to the listeners that, I don't know, guiding principles or whatever you want to call them, right? That if they were to apply today would help move their life forward today, what might that be?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. As I mentioned to you earlier, I had watched your podcast this morning, and I think kind of I have a very similar philosophy in terms of becoming who do you want to be and kind of what's your big vision and dreaming. And I think all of us have a voice inside of us that know where we want to go. And I think the more time we spend cultivating that voice, and so kind of my perspective is spending 10 minutes a day, just kind of envisioning that life, envisioning that goal. What I find more often than not is people struggle on the belief of they can see it, but kind of believing it is their challenge. And so what I recommend is kind of continuing to tap into that vision, seeing it, kind of envisioning what it feels like, the victory, envisioning what it feels like to accomplish it, and taking small steps every day towards creating that dream life. So I feel very fortunate to see so many people thriving, and my goal and vision is for more and more of us to continue to thrive and creating our best lives. So
absolutely. Amen. What is a couple, I don't know if you're on social media, or what's the best place for the listener here to find out more about you and what you're up to?
I would say my website, www.vgtpeopleadvisory.com is the best place. And by all means on LinkedIn.
What? VGT
People Advisory.
Advisory. Okay.
Yep.
.com.
So advising people. Yep. We got it.
Great. Yeah, we'll get that linked up too, but VGT peopleadvisory.com. Cool.
You
Awesome.
got it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I appreciate you being here today. And for the listener, if you want more incredible content from people like Vivian, then please stay right here. Don't go anywhere, and stay tuned for the next episode. Vivian, is a pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nate. Truly enjoyed getting to know you and feel lucky to have you as a partner in this world making a difference.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Same to you.